me, Senator. I appreciate it.
Of course.
And so my first question for you is just on the memo. I wanted to talk to you about the kind of progress that you're making so far, and are you finding more agreement between committee members on funding strategies right now?
Yeah, I think there's been incredible progress. We've been working on this for over a year. It's been 12 meetings around the state. We've had work groups. We've been working all the legislative session, and now we're into that final framework that we're putting together. So I'm really excited about people actually coming together, Democrats and Republicans, and finding a solution by the end of the session.
Mm-hmm. And so are the Republicans that you've been speaking with so far just the ones in the Transportation Committee, or have you been also speaking with Republicans just around the entire, in both caucuses?
Well, I think you're going to see that a lot of the final proposals are things that people have been talking about for a long time. We need to be able to fund road repair, make sure our roads and bridges are paid for, that maintenance and critical safety features are funded. And so that's been the work that we've been doing all legislative session, and that's the work that we're engaging in a bipartisan fashion.
Mm-hmm. And then I wanted to ask you about one of the big updates from the memo is possibly replacing the current climate protection program and instituting that cap and trade system. It's very late in the session. Do you think agreement on something like this is achievable?
Well, I started the legislative session and said that good ideas come from anywhere, and my door is always open. So I think regardless of where we are in the legislative session, it's an opportunity for us to really make a run at it. We've been talking about this for a long time. We've seen California and Washington making incredible progress. So the ability to have linkage to California and Washington, let's get that conversation going and let's see how far we can make it.
Mm-hmm. And so the memo describes where the money from the system would go to, but not how much in each. When can we find out that information, and when do you think that'll happen?
Right. So next week is going to be a really big week for the transportation conversation because we wanted a frontline accountability. People need to make sure that they understand that the dollars that they're entrusting us with are being spent wisely. Immediately after that, there's going to be a real framework that gets presented. But again, it's consistent with all the concepts that we've seen. It's just moving the levers and dials to making sure that we hit the numbers that you're going to see reflected.
Mm-hmm. And then Republicans walked down on this issue in 19 and in 20 over that the cap and trade idea. Is there any concern that could happen again?
I don't foresee that happening at all. And in fact, right now, the conversations, and I'm sure you're having them, are with Democrats and Republicans wanting to come to the table to find a really good policy solution moving forward.
Mm-hmm. And then what are your thoughts on what the Republicans proposed last night? Any comment on what they put out in their proposal?
Yeah, I came into this morning into the building and then was off and running, so I haven't had an opportunity to fully review it. So I'll take a look at it. But I think what we've seen is that there are people from both sides of the aisle that want to come together and find real solutions. And that's our intention. We're going to be putting a bill forward that meets the goals that we started with, fixing our roads and bridges, making sure critical maintenance and safety programs are being funded.
And we can expect this whole transportation proposal in one specific bill? Is it going to be an omnibus bill? How exactly can people expect this transportation bill to be put forward?
Right, so there's always been a really public process. There's a committee that people can go on our Oregon Legislative Information System website and watch the committee hearings, participate, make their voices heard in the process. That's going to be critical through the end of session. So it'll be very open in terms of being able to receive public input. I think that's the critical thing, is people know that their government is open and that we want to hear their ideas too.
Mm-hmm. And then is there anything else you'd like our viewers to know just about the conversations that you've had so far on the transportation proposal and transportation funding going forward?
No, I think that going forward, the fact that our local cities and counties, and that we're talking about bridges and maintenance and critical investment across the state, that's the most important thing. We want to be accountable for the resources that we're given and make sure that that money is going to work in local communities across the entire state.
And if I could fit this just last question into, you're talking about holding ODOT accountable. In what ways are you guys looking to do that?
Well, we actually got external to the agency this time. And this is, again, we went outside and found a professional consulting firm that went and looked from soup to nuts in terms of how we can have a really functioning, top-notch Department of Transportation. So we want to look at their recommendations and then embed that work into an accountability frame going forward as we pass this package this session.
All right. Thank you so much, Senator.
Thank you. Yeah.